Hello everyone, welcome to the session on IT security and risk management, a very important topic to be studied by people of MBA or MTech or even BTech computer science and IT. Now let me tell you what this subject covers. It covers cryptographic algorithms, mutual trust, network security, cloud security, risk management, and so on. There are some standards organizations which network security companies or IT security companies follow. One is NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, ISOC, Internet Society, ITUT, that is International Telecommunication Union Telecommunication Standardization Sector. The art of war teaches us to rely not on the likelihood of the enemies not coming, but on our own readiness to receive him, not on the chance of his not attacking, but rather on the fact that we have made our position unassailable. IT in the context of IT security, Internet is a worldwide collection of networks that has advanced beyond anybody's expectations. Internet provides us convenience to an individual trying to access data, but this convenience comes along with associated risk because there are so many people who are accessing the data, and there some of them intention is to what disrupt your data or to hack your data. The critical information which is being exchanged between any two persons on the internet can be either changed, misused, stolen, or even lost. All this points towards limitless advancements in IT security. Information security is defined as a process of protecting critical information along with its significant elements, including networks and systems that use the data at rest, in use, or in motion. See, information security is not only about securing the system which receives or sends data, it is also about securing the entire set of assets in an organization, including hardware, software, people, data, networks, and procedures that make use of information resources that are available in the organization. If we have allowed the use of pen drive in the company, then leakage of any information can never be restricted. There are some cryptographic algorithm protocols which are normally grouped into four categories. Number one, symmetric encryption, which is used to conceal the contents of blocks or streams of data of any size, including messages, files, encryption keys, and passwords. The second category is asymmetric encryption. This is used to conceal small blocks of data such as keys and hash function values which are used in digital signatures. So this comes normally, in the case of private key encryption. The third is integrity algorithms used to protect blocks of data such as messages from alteration. Authentication protocols are schemes based on the use of cryptographic algorithms designed to authenticate the identity of entities. This vast field of IT security, which includes in network security, internet security, cloud security, they consist of measures to deter, prevent, detect, and correct security violations that involve the transmission of information. So this is a broad statement that covers a host of possibilities. So to give you a feel for the areas to be covered in this subject, you should consider the following examples of security violation. Now let me tell you, all these examples are very important and they occur in the IT companies or in our offices. Situation 1. See, these are nothing but case studies of situations which show the use of importance of IT security. Situation 1. User A transmits a file to user B. The file contains sensitive information such as payroll records that is to be protected from disclosure. User C, who is not authorized to read the file, is able to monitor the transmission and capture a copy of the file during its transition. So user C here playing the role of an intruder. A network manager D transmits a message to a computer E under its management. So D is a person who is transmitting and E is nothing but receiving. This message instructs computer E to update an authorization file to include the identities of a number of new users who are to be given access to that computer, new people who have joined. User F, again who's playing the role of intruder, intercepts the message. He alters its contents to add or delete some entries and then forwards the message to computer E, which accepts the message as if it is coming from manager D, and updates its authorization file accordingly. This scenario is happening very much in organizations. Rather than intercept a message, user F constructs its own message with the desired entries and transmits that message to computer E as if it had come from manager D. Computer E accepts the message as coming from manager D and updates its authorization file accordingly. Now this is another type of attack, security attack. Situation number 4, an employee is fired without warning. The personnel manager or the HR manager sends a message to a server system to invalidate the employee's account. When the invalidation is accomplished, the server is to post a notice to the employee's file as confirmation of the action. The employee is able to intercept the message and delay it long enough to make a final access to server to retrieve sensitive information. The message is then forwarded, the action taken, and the confirmation posted. The employee's action may go unnoticed for some considerable period of time. Situation 5. Message is being sent from a customer to a stockbroker with instructions of various transactions. Subsequently, the investments lose value and the customer denies the sending this message, and this is known as denial of service. Some important concepts. National Institute of Standards and Technology defines computer security as the protection afforded to an automated information system in order to attain the applicable objectives of preserving the integrity, availability, and confidentiality of information system resources such as hardware, software, firmware, information, data, and telecommunications. This definition introduces 3 important objectives of IT security. Number 1, confidentiality, which could be data confidentiality and it could be privacy. Data confidentiality assures that private or confidential information is not made available or disclosed to unauthorized individuals. Privacy assures that individuals control or influence what information they want to. The second objective of IT security is integrity. Again, it covers data integrity and system integrity. Data integrity assures that information and programs are changed only in a specified and authorized manner. System integrity ensures that a system, it could be a network system, it could be an entire database system or file system, performs its intended functions in an unimpaired manner, free from deliberate or inadvertent or unauthorized manipulation of the system, so that nobody is able to hamper or manipulate the system. Third objective of security, availability, assures that systems work promptly and service is not denied to the authorized users. So system is available 24/7. So this is nothing but the CIA triad, which already explains the 3 concepts: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So these are the very, very 3 important objectives of data security, network security, or simply which you call as IT security. There are some additional concepts related to IT security: authenticity and accountability. Authenticity, authentic, the property of being genuine and being able to be verified and trusted. Confidence in the validity of a transmission, a message, or from where the message has originated. This means verifying that users are who they say they are, that is, they claim to be, and that each input arriving at the system came from a trusted source. And what is accountability? It's the goal of security that generates the requirement for actions of an entity to be traced uniquely to that entity. This supports non-repudiation, deterrence, fault isolation, intrusion detection and prevention, and after-action recovery and legal action. There are 8 elements of information security: confidentiality, integrity, availability, identification, authentication, number 6, authorization, accountability, and last but not least, auditing. Clear? Confidentiality, to prevent the disclosure of information to individuals or group of individuals who are unauthorized to have access to that information. Integrity, to protect the accuracy and completeness of information and the methods that are used to process and manage it. Availability, it states that an asset must be made available when needed by an authorized entity if it is accessible and usable. Prevent the disclosure of information to individuals or group of individuals who are unauthorized to have access to that information. Example, service disruptions in a network due to hardware failures or power outages and system upgradations could make the system or the network unavailable to the intended users. Identification, the process that enables recognition of a user described to an automated data processing system. It's generally by the use of unique machine readable names. For example, when the user swipes his or her ATM card in an ATM machine system, then the user is identified by the core banking platform. Authentication is the process of verifying that the identified user is the real owner of his or her identity. For example, after swiping the ATM card, the user has to enter his or her secret PIN. Once it is entered, the user is authenticated to process the desired transaction. Authorization is the act or technique of providing the appropriate permissions to the user for accessing a particular file to perform a particular action. Accountability means that every individual who works within an information system should have specific responsibility for information assurance, that is, software quality assurance. Lastly, auditing is the formal review and examination of the actions or activities of any user. So, to implement the information security in a system, we need the Deming PDC approach, that is, plan, do, check, and act. The 3 levels of impact: if you breach security or security has been violated and from IT security, then there are 3 levels: low, moderate, and high. So the most important factor is high. So up till now the impact is low, it doesn't matter. So in the moderate impact and the high impact, it matters. Low impact, the loss could be expected to have a limited adverse effect on individual operations, organizational assets, or individuals. For example, result in minor financial loss, result in minor damage to assets. Moderate impact, the loss could be expected to have a serious adverse effect on organizational operations, assets, or individuals. And high impact, the loss could be expected to have a very severe or catastrophic adverse effect on organizational operations, organizational assets, or individuals, and they result in major damage, major financial loss, cause severe degradation. Examples: confidentiality. See, student-grade information is an asset whose confidentiality is considered to be highly important by students. Grade information, that is marks information, should be only be available to students, their parents, and employees. That means faculty that requires information to do their job. This enrollment information, student enrollment information, when you register into a university, you are enrolled, have a moderate confidentiality rating while still covered by FERPA, that is Family, Educational Rights and Privacy Act. This information is seen by more people on daily basis. It is less likely to be targeted than grade information, and obviously it results in less damage. And lastly, directory information such as list of students, list of faculty, list of departments may be assigned a low confidentiality rating or indeed no rating. Similarly, integrity, patients, allergy information in the case of hospital. So patent allergy information is an example of an asset with a high requirement of integrity, because inaccurate information, that means information presented after some period of time, could result in serious harm or death to the patient and expose the hospital to a massive liability. A website offers a forum to register users to discuss some specific topic may be an example of moderate integrity. Anonymous online poll, like we see in the case of shows like Big Boss, etc., clear, is an example of low integrity, or in the case of elections, before the elections. Availability. The more critical a component or service is, the higher the level of availability required. Consider a system that provides authentication services for critical systems, critical applications, and devices. For example, a university website which is to be accessed by the public. This website provides information for current and prospective students and donors. An online telephone directory lookup application would be classified as low availability. Why? Because you can get it also from a hard copy directory or the operator. Now, what are the challenges of IT security? Just to name a few, not simple. Must consider potential attacks. Procedures used counterintuitive. Now, let me come to IoT attacks, which could be passive attacks or could be active attacks. You see, this passive attacks and active attacks. A passive attack attempts to learn or make use of system information from the system but does not affect system resources. I'll tell you why they are called passive, because you're only sending information to somebody or sharing information to somebody. Now, person A is sending information to person B. Okay, fine, and just via email. And person C, who's nothing but playing the role of intruder, is just trying to eavesdrop the information, okay, or simply replay the information. Are you getting it? So he's doing some traffic analysis, doing some traffic analysis. So either you want to he's just passing the information to somebody else. So passive attacks are very difficult to detect because they do not involve any alteration of data. Message traffic is sent and received in an apparently normal fashion, and neither sender nor receiver are aware that some intruder or third party has read your messages or observed the traffic pattern. Whereas an active attack is more important and quite dangerous also. The impact is high also. It attempts to alter, that means modify, change, update the system resources or affect the operation. These are divided into 4 categories. It could be a masquerade, it could be a replay, it could be modification of messages, or worstly, it could be denial of service also. Masquerade takes place when one person pretends to be a different entity. Impersonification, we say it. Okay. So, if you are pretending to be, but the other person doesn't know. Clear? Suppose A is there and B involved. Now C is playing the role of A, but B doesn't know. Replay involves the passive capture of data on unit and its subsequent retransmission, replaying it more and more after retransmission to produce an unauthorized effect. Thirdly, modification of message. Now, this is a very, very severe active attack, and it can have huge impact, a very dangerous impact. Simply means that some portion of a legitimate message is altered, or that messages are delayed or reordered by some intruder to produce an unauthorized effect. For example, a message meaning allow John Smith to read confidential accounts is modified to mean allow Fred Brown to read confidential accounts. Lastly, denial of service prevents or inhibits the normal usage or management of communication facilities. This attack may have a specific target. For example, an entity may suppress all messages directed to a particular destination. Example, the security audit service. Another form of denial service is the disruption of entire network. Somebody has disrupted an entire network by either disabling the network or by overloading it with messages so as to degrade the performance of the system. So these are just the examples of passive attacks. See, Bob is, say, user A, Alice is user B. Now these are the two persons who are involved in the communication. And intruder C, are you getting it? is nothing but the unauthorized person sees Darth. So see this passive attack. He is trying to read the contents of the message which are being transmitted from Bob to Alice or vice versa also. Another form of passive attack is traffic analysis. He's just observing the traffic pattern. What is the traffic pattern? What type of messages? What type of people they are? Are they working on some project and so on? Active interaction attack. This is interruption. See, he's trying to interrupt. He's trying to block the delivery of message by Bob to Alice. So see the red line. You see. So in one way, by and now Darth clear has not allowed Bob to communicate to Alice. Second, fabricate the message. I repeat, fabricate just means that a portion of the message is being fabricated. Clear? Now this is dangerous also. Again, Darth is coming here and playing the role of intruder. Then replay. He captures message from Bob to Alice. Later replays the message to Alice. Okay? But Alice doesn't know. Then modification. In this case, it's very dangerous. I told you, Bob is modifying the message Darth is modifying the message which is being sent by Bob to Alice, but Alice doesn't know. And Alice is receiving the modified message, the different message. So this is a comparison of active and passive attacks. Passive attack, they focus on prevention. It is easy to stop them or prevent them, but it is very difficult to detect them. On the other hand, active attacks are the opposite. They focus on detection recovery. They are hard to stop or prevent, but they are easy to detect. Now we've got some IT security services and mechanisms. Clear? So these are the security services: authentication, access control, data confidentiality, data integrity, non-repudiation, and availability. Now these are services. Now there has to be some security techniques or security mechanisms, which could be in two categories. Either they could be specific security mechanisms such as encipherment, digital signatures, access controls, data integrity, authentication exchange, traffic padding, routing control, notarization. These are the different security techniques. Other category security mechanism techniques are trusted functionality, security labels, event detection, security audit rules, security recovery. So just this is showing, see the model of network security. See there is a message, there is a sender party involved, a recipient party involved, and there is a party called as opponent. Okay, fine. So this shows. So just to summarize, we did IT security roadmap and standard organizations. Okay, we did concepts of confidentiality, integrity, availability. That is the objectives of security architecture, attacks, services, mechanisms, and what are the models for network security. So that's all. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or issues, please let me know.